So if you haven't been able to tell yet, this is going to be a bench. The client wants an all metal frame and slat bench for her gym. And I'm just sitting on this thing to try and see how comfortable it can be. I have to ask her if it's gonna be a form over function thing, because if so, I'm gonna go with one less slat. That way I know for sure I'll be able to get weld all around on all sides. If not, we'll figure something out. But I think for now, I've gotta cut and continue on with the assumption that I'm gonna be putting 6 of these pieces of 2x1 on the seat surface. So that's what we're gonna do. So as always, not really as always, but what should be as always, start off by cleaning the metal. Makes your life a whole lot easier when things are all put together, and cleaning it becomes a little bit more difficult. So I do that first. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing, this Bauer surfacing tool from Harbor Freight. The love part of it is that if you need to clean metal up quick, especially rectangle tube or square tube, stuff like that, does a great job, does it really quick. You're not gonna get it mirror finish, obviously, but you're gonna get most of that mill scale off. The hate part of it is that it's messy. I'm wearing this, kicks up dust, but you know, if I'm gonna start complaining about dirty tools as I'm cutting and welding metal together, I think I might be in the wrong line of work. So generally, great tool. These drums are a little bit pricey though. I think they're like 40 bucks a pop, but for the convenience, for the time saved, there's not much better than this. All right, before we get to those slats that I mentioned before, and honestly, we're probably not gonna get to them in this video. In fact, I know we're not going to get to them in this video because I need something as a cliffhanger for you guys to watch part 2 of this build. So yeah, we're not going to get to the slats, but what we are going to be doing in this video is building the main frame of this thing. And for that, we're using this 3" by 2" rectangle tube material, which as you've just seen me do, we got cut down to size using the cold cut saw, and we're bringing it over to the grinder now to soften up the edges a little bit, deburr them, give them a slight bevel so that when we go to weld them up, we'll get better penetration than if we just left them with the cut edge. And the first thing we're going to weld together are these caps. We're going to put these on the tops and bottoms of our vertical pieces for the sides of the frame because they're exposed and we want everything to look good. We don't just want to leave open metal tube because that wouldn't look good. So we cap them, and that's what we're doing here. Now after we get all of the caps tacked on, we go back and fully weld them up before we eventually take them over to the grinder and clean up all of those welds all around so that we end up with a piece that looks like one seamless piece of metal. Now just a quick note for any of you who might be new to metalworking or fabrication, welding, etc. Generally what you want to do when you're building out a metal frame like this or a railing or whatever it is, you want to tack it together first before committing to a full weld. And basically what a tack weld is just a tiny little weld that keeps things in place as you're putting a piece together. But you probably already know that, don't you? Because I imagine if your algo put this video in front of you and you're watching it, then chances are you're watching other guys or gals build stuff, perhaps out of metal, and you already know what a tack weld is, and I'm preaching to the choir here, but maybe you're a woodworker. Maybe you're a woodworker and you're metal curious. And that's okay. I won't tell anybody. You can if you want to, but I won't. In any case, if you didn't know what a tack weld was before, now you do. Alright, so before this voiceover completely unravels, a quick note on the things you see me using here to clamp my pieces together. These are called the Mega Squares from Fireball Tool or Fireball Tools. I don't know if they go by the plural or the singular, but who cares? These things are awesome either way. I actually bought them about 6 months ago and they were sitting in my toolbox, and I don't know why I wasn't using them, but I'm glad I brought them out for this project because they are super helpful. You know, for a guy who doesn't have unlimited resources, obviously I don't have a fixture table that I can clamp things down to and get my angles just right and hold everything nice and tight as I'm going to tack things up and weld things up. These are a great substitute for that. They help remove the variables, at least out of a 90-degree fit up, which is honestly the majority of what I'm doing anyway. So, super helpful product. Couldn't recommend them more. So at this point, obviously, we got the side pieces. Not side pieces, the side pieces. All tacked together, and we are putting the stretcher. You know, for somebody who wants to build furniture, I have no idea what the terminology for any of this stuff is. So you're gonna have to bear with me when I say things like the stretchers or the runners. The pieces that go across the top from one side to the other side. That's what I'm trying to describe. We're putting those things on now, and we're using those Mega Squares to help us do that, and it's going pretty smoothly. And the rest of this is honestly pretty self-explanatory. Now, something you may not know is that I hate doing these voiceovers. I hate it. I've tried to do this voiceover about 3 times, and I've hated every single version of it. And it's not that thing where I hate the sound of my own voice, which I do, but that's not the reason why I dislike doing it. It's because I feel compelled, I feel drawn to doing what most other people do and talk about the process of building stuff. But that's the thing I don't like doing. So I try to avoid doing that at all costs. I've done it a little bit in this video, sure. But for the most part, I like just rambling about nothing. And I know that's probably not the best thing to do content-wise, but I don't know, man. I'm probably just going to keep doing it this way anyways, because at this point, I have to get something in the can, as it were. And you know, my dislike for the voiceover is also part of the reason why you saw me start this one off with a little bit more direct-to-camera stuff, which I'm going to try to pepper in increasingly as I make these videos, because more direct-to-camera stuff means less voiceover stuff in the end. And that's what I want. Less voiceover stuff. Yeah, so anyway, that's the video. We built the main frame. In part 2, we're going to be adding those slats. Maybe things go smoothly, maybe they don't. Hopefully you stay tuned and check it out. As always, thanks for watching. See ya.